You did everything they told you to do, paid on time, kept the balances low, waited until you felt ready. Then the approval comes through and the limit is $500. And your first thought is, that is what they think I am worth. I want to take that apart because it's the wrong read. Some of that number is not about you at all. It is about what the next lender could already see. And the part that is about you is a starting line, not a score. Let me show you what they're actually looking at and what moves it. Hey, I'm Flo. I teach you how to build personal credit and turn it into real business funding. If that is what you're working on, go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell so these actually reach you. So here's the thing most people never think about. Your credit report does not just list who you owe and whether you paid. It lists your limits, every card, and what the ceiling is on each one. Which means when you apply somewhere new, that lender can see the ceiling on every card you already have. That part is not a theory. It is just what is on the file. Now, what do they do with it? This is where I want to be careful with you because you will hear people say this with a lot more confidence than the evidence supports. What is actually documented is that some issuers may take the limits on your other cards into account when they decide where to put you. Some may. Those are the honest words, and I'm not going to upgrade them for you. This is a door been opened. It is not a lever you pull. There is a name for this floating around, by the way. People call it comparable credit. All that means is the lender comparing what you are asking for against what somebody already trusted you with. It is a useful phrase as long as you know it is a comparison and not a formula. Now, if you go looking, you will find a few different versions of what lenders actually do with those limits. Let me just show you because it is easier to see than to explain. Say you have got 3 cards, one at $500, one at $1,500, one at $3,000. If a lender is reading your biggest limit, they are looking at $3,000. That is the neighborhood they are deciding in. If they are reading the total, everything added up, that is $5,000. Bigger picture, slightly different read. And if they are reading the average across your cards, that is about $1,700, which is a much smaller number than either of the other two. Same wallet, 3 ways to read it, 3 different answers, and you do not get to know which one you are walking into. Some issuers do this, some do not. Nobody outside those rooms knows which is which on any given day, and anybody telling you they do is guessing. From what I have seen, the biggest one usually does the most work. And every underwriter I have ever asked about this has told me they'll look at what else you already have. That is my experience talking, and I want to be straight that it is my experience and not a rule somebody published. But here's a part I actually want you to take away, and it is the useful bit. Look at those 3 numbers again. If you grow that $3,000 card to $5,000, watch what happens. Your biggest goes up, your total goes up, your average goes up. All 3 readings move in the same direction. So you do not need to know which method you are facing. Growing your top card helps under every version of the story. That is why I care about the biggest one. And it is the whole reason this is worth knowing. Here's the part I really want you to hear because I think it is the thing that would have saved me the most worry. That opening limit is read against your whole picture. Your income, how long your file has been open, what you already owe. Picture 2, people who both just got approved for $3,000. One is 23. This is their first card. They have been working about a year and a half. The other is 45. Has been borrowing for 20 years and makes 3 times as much. Same number on both letters. For the first person, that is a solid start. For the second one, that is a lender being careful about something. Same $3,000, 2 completely different messages, and the number by itself does not tell you which one you are holding. If your biggest limit is $1,500, you're not behind. You are at the start of a curve almost everybody is on. And I mean a curve, literally. Look at what happens to cards over 5 years. Cards that go to people with credit under 600 start at around $700 on average. 5 years later, those same cards average closer to $2,700. And compare that to somebody with great credit. Their card opens around $12,000, and 5 years later, it is only up to about $15,000. It barely moved. So the person who started at $700 nearly quadrupled. The person who started at $12,000 went up a quarter. The growth is not happening to the people who already had everything. It is happening most of the people who started small. If the answer comes back smaller than you hoped, that is information about timing. It is not information about you. I want to stop for a second because if you're watching this with a $500 card in your wallet feeling some kind of way about it, I have been there and I know what that feels like. It is not a grade. It is a starting position. And the next part is what actually moves it, which is much more boring and much more in your control than people make it sound. Now, this surprised me when I first learned it, and it takes a lot of pressure off. About 1 in 8 cards gets a limit increase in a given year, and roughly 4 out of 5 of those the bank did on its own. Nobody called, nobody filled out a form. The bank looked at the account and moved the number. So if you're carrying 3 or 4 cards, there's a decent chance one of them moves sometime this year. And the way you will find out is a notification on your phone. So the thing you have been told to chase is mostly something that happens to you rather than something you extract. What is published about what precedes it is not exotic. On time payments consistently. Paying more than the minimum when you can. Keeping your income current with them if it changes. That is a whole list, and it's a soft pull when they do it themselves. So it costs you nothing. Use the card like it is your real card. Normal spending you were going to do anyway, paid on time. Not a balance you put there to prove something. Not one uncomfortable wrinkle, and I would rather you hear it from me than find it somewhere who worse framing. Out of 100 people who pay their card off every single month, about 2 get a bank-initiated increase in a given quarter. Out of 100 people who carry a balance, it is closer to 4. So yes, that is twice the rate. But look at those 2 numbers again, because the framing matters. 4 out of 100 is still 4 out of 100. You would be paying interest every month all year long for that. I'm telling you that because it is true, not because it is a strategy. It is a bad trade and it's not what I am suggesting. Whatever you put on that application, put the real number. That is a signed statement and there is no undoing it later. So what is actually yours to do here? First, know which card is carrying your top limit because that is the one doing the quiet work. Before you close a card, check whether it is carrying your highest limit. If it is, you're about to lower the number every future lender sees and shorten your history at the same time. I did a whole episode on what closing an old account costs you, and it is worth watching. But the piece that belongs here is just that the limit is visible and you are the one who can remove it. Second, if the annual fee on your best card stops making sense, do not just close it. If the annual fee stops making sense, ask about a product change before you close it. You usually keep the age and the limit. A product change just means they swap you onto a different card in the same family instead of opening a new account. So you call the number on the back and ask whether they can move you to a version with no annual fee. They do this all day. It is not a new application, there is no credit check, and the account keeps the birthday it already had. Third, a word on where the limits come from. Your credit union limit counts the same as a bank limit. There is no discount for where it came from. Nobody is marking your file down because the ceiling came from a credit union instead of a big bank. Fourth, and briefly, because I covered this properly a few weeks back. If your file is all credit cards and no installment loans, a small share secure loan can help your credit mix. That is a mix thing, not a limit thing, and it will not raise anybody's ceiling. The Credit Builder Loan episode has a whole method. And one caution before you go collecting ceiling. More available credit is not automatically a good thing. Some lenders look at unused credit and see debt you could take on tomorrow. That is a real minority view, and I've talked about it before, so just know it exists. So if you take one thing out of this, let it be that the number on your approval letter was a starting position, and starting positions move. And when yours does move, I want you ready for the part nobody warns you about. Take that same $3,000 card from earlier, say it goes up to $5,000. That is $2,000 of new room that showed up without you asking. On average, about 600 of that turns into an actual balance within 6 months. Not for reckless people, for everybody, including people who were not carrying anything before. When a limit goes up, most people spend a good chunk of it within a few months. Know that about yourself before it lands. That is not a character flaw, it is just what the numbers say happens. A bigger limit is not more money, it is more room, and room only helps you if you leave it empty. I'll put together a one-page thing that walks you through finding your own top limit, checking what is actually on your report, and the 4 moves from this video. It is free, link is below. You're not behind, you're early, and early is a much better problem. Keep the momentum going. I'll see you in the next one.